guys. So one thing I noticed is that nobody really likes to share or talk about things that are really affecting our families or affecting each other. Extended families, grandparents, the people that we see every day, relationships, aunts, uncles, all of that. I started a video a little while ago just talking about my sister, sharing stuff with you about her. I don't really think that anyone should talk or give advice about anything that they haven't personally experienced or went through. So I talk about certain stuff that I've experienced because I don't really, not a lot of people are going to share how to get over certain things without weaving in all the emotion and all the other stuff. For example, if anyone has had a cerclage because they've had miscarriages, if anyone has had a stillbirth, carrying a child up to like 7-8 months and it not manifesting, if anyone has experienced death, if anyone has experienced betrayal, mourning, having a crazy family member that's really close to them, that might affect your mental health, your growth, your development. I have waited 20 some years to share certain things because you don't want to talk about things if people have families or if people are watching or they're going to be affected by the stories you share. But at the same token, so much time has passed, now I'm like, I can have a lot more fun than I used to. Moon and Capricorn weekend, shout outs to all women with Moon and Capricorns and have dealt with any type of death, betrayal, all of that. So today I'm going to talk about, I shared with you my sister, right? It's not to say that this person might not love me, but how do they express their love to you? And did anything happen? Yes, okay, we lost our mom. Now that I'm my age, my son is 17. I cannot tell you how I cannot imagine how I got through what I went through at 19. I didn't have family. I got kicked out of my home the day of my mother's funeral. My uncles and aunts, I have not seen anybody in my extended family in 30 years since my mother has died. Sometimes I wonder who knew her. Can I run into somebody that knew this woman, that met her, that had story?
Besides you.
Besides me. I love you, Aseer. So I'm sharing this to share with you. Nobody wants to talk about their whack grandparents or the fact that they can't trust their uncles or their sisters or brothers. I don't know what happened to some of our families, but they definitely traded up. They wanted money, they wanted power, they wanted control, whatever it was. If you come from a family that seriously betrayed members in your family or something happened where the will was stolen, money was taken, this is definitely a time to tune in. I don't share shit because it's like, why? Nobody cares about your personal life. But when I shared stuff about my sister, I got so many emails about, wow, you know, people betraying them as well and certain stuff happening to them. And it just made me think, like, okay, I have a father. My mother died when I was 19. My father has never been in my life. I saw him maybe 4 times growing up from the age of like 2 to 15. Had a really traumatic experience on his side, meaning that I went to visit him after not seeing him for like 8 years. I'm 13. I'm about to start high school. I go to visit my pops in California, who we really can't even get in contact with, but my mom is like, call him, call him, call him. So I have a really encouraging mom that is striving to get me to have a relationship with someone that just didn't really want to know us, me and my sister, just didn't really. So instead of my mom being like, stay away from your dad, don't talk to him, don't be here, she was really the type to be like, call him, try to be in touch, all of that. So I strived as a young lady, calling my father, always got the voicemail, never had a return call. So I got pretty used to early in my life not taking it personal, just knowing that my dad wasn't around. So boom, I see him when I'm 13, I'm about to enter high school, playing volleyball in California. I dislocate my knee. My kneecap shifts into my thigh, major injury. My father, who happens to be the person I'm visiting, he goes, well, you know, it's really not that bad. She shouldn't have been playing volleyball. It's not that bad. And he might have been right, right? Everybody at the beach that day was like, yo, your daughter's leg is like this big. She need to go to the hospital. He's like, look, I got a bowling tournament at 7 o'clock. My wife is here who happened to be, and I'm saying this just to share the story. She happened to be a Caucasian woman. So I didn't really, wasn't close to her. I didn't know her. I just found out my father married this woman when I'm in California by seeing pictures in their house and being like, oh, you married? Okay, cool. 6 years old, I might have seen him. Now I'm 13. All right. So stepmother, white woman, is like, Max, this girl's leg is really effed up. You got to take her to the hospital. He's like, whatever. I think he was a little embarrassed that it happened on his watch. I got hurt. Now he's going to have to talk to my mother, who, you know, go ahead, go and see your father, spend time with him. Day 2, I have this injury. White woman drives me to the airport. We get a ticket. My mother finds out about what happens, come home right away. I go home right away. I'm in surgery that day. That day that I'm in surgery, total reconstructive surgery, knee is totally messed up, so bad that I could have had my leg amputated because flying with it that swollen was that extreme. But my father didn't want to take me to the hospital. Linda, the white lady, feels bad. I'm on the phone with my mother. She's like, look, just go to the airport. I'll meet you in New York. Get on a plane. Let's go to the hospital for special surgery. Something happened. Let's go take a look at it. I get to the hospital for special surgery. Your daughter needs to be in surgery right away. Bad. Boom. Have surgery. Did not see my father. Did not talk to him from 14 to now 19. The next time I see and speak to my father is the weekend my mother passes.
Right.
I try to get in touch with him, do get in touch with him. Hey, mom passed, you know, this is what happens. Didn't really hear from him that weekend. Had to leave a scattered message, hope that Linda gives it to him. He sees photos of me, maybe like a year later, and goes, well, what happened? What's that on your knee? What happened to your knee? I said, that's a surgery.
He didn't even know.
Yeah, I said, that's a surgery I had. What surgery? My father did not know I had knee surgery the week that I went to go and visit him.
That's crazy.
He didn't think it was crazy. I'm speeding up the story. That is the last time I saw him. My mother passed, right? Didn't even see him. Just wanted to let him know your first wife passed. Now, I hear a story how, whatever, he tried coming to a funeral. He went a little crazy. He was put in the G building. My father deals with schizophrenia and bipolar. He was a gunny sergeant for 22 years in the Army. Really, really strong. Trained a lot of killers. Trained a lot of people. Great masculine energy, right? Prowess energy. Used to train Tookie. Opened the first world's Gold's Gym in California. Mad white women love him. One of them black men. All these white women and people around him. Fast forward that a little more. He finds out my mother dies. Don't hear, see him, whatever. Now I'm in college, of course. My first year of college just completed. I'm bugging because I'm more 17. I can't believe I went through this shit. So then, boom, I call my pops. I'm like, yo, Dad, I can get free textbooks. I just need you, because you're a veteran, to sign off on the document. My father's exact words, go ask your dead mother. Okay, go ask my dead mother. Hung up the phone, entering my second year of school. Now I know my father ain't helping me. I gotta pay for school books. I gotta pay for everything. I get 3 jobs. I work. Longer story short, I didn't speak to my dad. Now, 19, 20, 21, 20, 29, 30, 31, 32. All them years passed. Didn't speak to my father. I get married, have a kid. Maybe I should call my dad. I have a son. It's been about a decade. Last time I spoke to him, he told me to go and ask my dead mother for a signature. Now you would want to know, why the hell did I even call this nigga? Why would I even want him? I don't know. Something in me at that time, I think after all those years passed, I was like, let me try again. And I had lost my mother. I had no family around. I thought he might be interested in knowing that he had a grandson. Plus, I used to hear all these stories about children who had really shitty parents and they're like great with their grandkids. So I was like, well, maybe. Okay, so I get in touch. He divorced a white woman, remarried to another woman. Now he a Jehovah's Witness. extreme Jehovah Witness, all this, all that. I'm like, Jehovah Witness, this man never practiced spirituality anyway. So, boom. Now, he remarried. I tell the woman to answer the phone. Well, it was email, a whole bunch of stuff to get in touch with him. Find him on the yellow pages, all this. Hey, I had a kid, wanted to know, oh my God, you had a son, I would love to see him, all this, all that. Thinking life is different. He's extremely excited. A year passes, he meets his grandson Amor at like 2 years of age. Oh my God, he's wonderful. Mind you, I haven't seen my father in another decade. Decades passed. Oh, he's wonderful, he's beautiful. Look, well, I just remarried. I'm in Ecuador. Let me take care of him for a while. You need some help. You need some whatever. I would love to help. I want to be in your life. Ray. Do you know, I was like, well, I haven't seen this man in decades. I don't really trust him. And I'm like, I'm not giving my son to this man who's a Jehovah Witness to be in Ecuador. Because mind you, I don't know, this man will call me. He might not ever let me see my kid. He loved that I had a son. My father always wanted boys. He had 2 girls. So boom, I'm like, well, you know, you can see him when you're in America. You can see him whenever. I'm wondering why my father even moved to Ecuador when he got a Panamanian passport. He born in Panama, raised in Panama. Why you in Ecuador when you got a Panamanian passport?
Weird.
Ask, he never tell. Okay, whatever. Happy you remarried, all of that. Happy that you love your grandson, all of that. Let's see what he does. Doesn't send no money, doesn't send no nothing. He did send a Target gift card. I'm not gonna front. He sent the Target gift card. Very grateful for the Target gift card, all this, all that. Was able to maybe buy like Pampers for a month. Anyway, so I'm thinking, oh shoot, I'm speaking to my dad, he's so excited about his grandson. But the conditions were, well, I'm moving back to Ecuador and I want to see my grandson, so send him to me. I ain't sending my grandson to you. I don't know you like that. I've maybe spoke to you 5 times in my life. The times I have, you've been extremely rude. You're weird. You don't like my mother. You keep bringing her up even after she's dead. These are all signs that I'm like, nah, I might not ever see. So that's camera A. I decided not to. Now my son is 17. Saw his grandfather when he was 2 years old. Has not spoken to him or seen him since. Tried. Don't give people what they want. Sometimes they don't fuck with you. They be out. Cool. Be out. I'm not gonna miss somebody ain't been in my life, and I'm cool with it. And I also started to be like, why am I trying to be cool with somebody who literally has made it so clear they don't fuck with me? Because there's a part of you as a child that still wants acceptance, approval, love, and you're just wondering what happened. Maybe my mother did something, nothing. Never hear a story, never nothing. My mother's side of it is, well, your dad started taking steroids around the time he started competing professionally. He was a bodybuilder. He did a little bit of that. I think the steroids on top of certain drugs affected him, and he just was never the same. He was never that cold and callous. But people change. That's camera A. Camera B is my husband. He right here. He got a mother. Mother alive. My son has not met, seen, or been around his grandmother ever. He met her at the father's funeral.
At my grandmother's funeral.
Grandmother's funeral. We got kicked out that funeral. Why you get kicked out the funeral? I don't know. Didn't want us there. Mother didn't like us there. I'm going to tell you a quick story about his mom. First apartment after college, 354 New York Avenue. Right around the corner his mother and grandmother lived. Didn't even know us here. Going to the President Street train station and go to work every day. This lady always out the window looking at me. So, I wave hi, black women in the neighborhood. Hey, what's up, sis? All of that. One day, she stopped me. She said, you have such cute style. I sell thrift store and I make clothes. You're so cute. You're so cute. You're like a size 02. All of that. Bought a little fur throw from her. She had a nice little, fake little store in her brownstone, little, clothes, all that. Longer story short, a year later, I come meet Aseer. This is choppy. I meet Aseer. He's like, yo, I gotta go stop off at my mom's crib and pick up some art. We go to the mom's crib. He's like, yeah, you live like close. You on New York Ave, right? I'm like, yeah, 354. He's like, yo, my mom live around the corner from you. I'm like, word? Come to find out, the same lady that would see me and stop me. I can't believe it. That's your mom's house? Bugged out. Because now I'm like, oh, I know your mom. I think I've met her. So boom, we go inside. She sees me with him, and her whole energy shifts. Mad nice, mad sweet to me, nicey, nicey, nicey. Quiet, switches up. He goes upstairs to get the art. I'm sitting on the staircase. She like, how you know my son? I'm like, oh, well, you know, I met him at the African Street Festival, right. She's like, oh, well, I didn't know. Mad shady, mad different. So he upstairs, about 20 minutes. She just talking bochinche, just talking drama. And this nigga, well, I just want you to know that this motherfucker and his pretty ass, and he think he all of this and all of this.
But then I come down the stairs, she stopped and act like it's all good. So then the last time I come down, she stops. She's like, look, you can't just be talking.
You gotta let people see you.
She like, look, you just can't be talking so much about.
I'll move over.
You just can't be talking so much about your son like that in front of me. Like, this is making me mad uncomfortable.
Basically, I said, why do you do that? Why, when he upstairs, you have so much nasty stuff, right. And then you come downstairs and you just switch it up. I said, it's really weird. It just makes me uncomfortable. That lady's energy shifted so much that day. She was like, oh, well, I'm sorry I made you uncomfortable, and After that woman couldn't be more enemy number one. And you know why I said something? Because I didn't want her, and this is for anybody. Anybody's parent that talked that much trash about their child, my mother would never. I mean, I could have stole pens, or my mother would never throw me under the bus. So I found it interesting that this woman who didn't know that I knew her son before, I'm mad cool. Soon as she finds out I know Aseer, her whole energy switches up and she's just acting totally different.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, well, if I act like I don't see her doing this, she gonna think I'm the type of shorty to just talk shit to behind his back, and I could just ching, 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 and then smile in his face. And I just thought it was shady, and I also thought it was an indicative sign that there was some abuse going on. Some serious abuse, because why would your mother talk about you like that? What did you do to her? And I had years of talks with Aseer. What did you do to this woman to have her thing like this?
Certain women from that era, I noticed, at least growing up in that era, I just see that a lot of them had their own specific agendas when it comes to their children and what they wanted from them. And especially once the fathers were chased out the crib, for whatever reason, that just created this.
Let me raise it up so I can see
your face.
This,
how do you say this? This vacuum where they just felt like they just needed to just do whatever they could do to like keep you around them. So sometimes what they'll do is they'll talk mad shit about you to other females to keep the females or whoever else away from you because they don't want you to go nowhere else. And that generation. Any male that grew up between like 73, like me, and now, anywhere between that era, you know what it was like growing up with all them women in the house. Like, it got to a point where the older you got, the more each one is seeing you as not a potential man for them, but a potential male, period. That they maybe could inject their own little wisdom or whatever trauma, whatever they went through, they feel like they could basically like impart that to you.
You're like
to almost
like
turn you,
or something, or...
yeah, to almost turn you into the type of man that they would want you to be if you was with them. But the thing is, that could never be because this is your family. So there's this thing in the community where like, for the past 80 years, it's just been okay for black women, so-called black women, to just constantly decry how horrible the so-called original man is, so-called original black man is. But then whenever he would stand up and say something, well, I need this from you, like, it's never equal. So when you get to a point where you've been raised like that, this is part of the self-destruct mechanism they put in the mothers to put into the children during that era of governmental, where the government became the man in the so-called black community home. And then once those children got to a point where we have been so emotionally raised by these women who, for whatever reason, whatever choices they made, put themselves in a position to be single, whether by choice or whether by action, whether by the actions of whatever the instance is, the overall general circumstance is the same. The child is now growing up with the understanding that in order for him to be a man, he got to figure that out himself. And no other group on earth really go through that. Like, as rapey and everything as these pale Arab men are, like, they don't have women just coming out with them every day online talking about, all the crazy shit they do to them. Like, they support them in a worse.
We're not saying that that's what we're supposed to do.
In a worse. I'm just saying that every other ethnic group, their women protect their men. Those women, even if they hate them niggas, they still protect them niggas enough where they don't be online constantly going in for generationally on how bad these men are.
Agreed.
They don't do that.
No.
And these women are coming from cultures with, like, Pakistanis right now. Like, Pakistani population is about 45, almost 50% inbred. So you got to understand that means that these people are not only sleeping with their direct family members, they having babies with these family members and perpetuating a system that is actually destroying their entire infrastructure, their culture. Yet the females is like, well, I'ma still marry my uncle. I'ma still marry. Like, this is what the men in my culture and what we've been bred to do. So this is what we doing. Like, there's no rebellion in that, and they're basically putting themselves to extinction. So when I look at our own people and the fact that they have created an industry on our dysfunction, in which now podcasting, half of the communication that goes between the male and the female of this hue or this complexion is always based on why we're not good for each other. But we're the only people on the planet doing this.
And then when we do see really great couples, I don't really hear the journey on how they stay that way.
Right.
Who's affecting? How do you deal with family?
Right.
I love watching certain stuff where you see how much grandparents love their grandchildren and are there for them. That shit is dope.
Word.
But it's not a through enough story, or like it doesn't shape the culture and the community of our people. They're just flashes. So you're always kind of comparing your snapshots to other people's snapshots. Like, wow, they've got a working family and they're loving and they're together. That's what we see, but how do they maintain that? Is it generationally? They've always been good to one another?
Right.
And also, I'm not talking about those families that are loving and haven't allowed certain aspects of the white man, corporative ranking, 401ks, investments, money, land, that haven't allowed certain things to destroy and separate their families. Y'all are a 1 in a million, and you guys should be celebrated, but you very rarely share, hey, this is how we've kept our family wealth. This is how we've kept, our children paid. This is how we've so-and-so. We're just figuring out stuff on our own.
That's what I'm saying.
Through trial and error, because we've never had our parents leave us anything, be good to us. I mean, to the point, sometimes, I'm sharing this to say to you, at 17, my son is in his room, enjoying himself right now, and I can't imagine in a year all of that switching up for him having no family, nobody to call, no one to know where to go. Thank God I was in college at the time to just escape there, but that escape was so even traumatic and horrible because it came with so much debt, so much money, and so much. I kind of know these people that I've met in college, they're not going to be in my life after. I hope that they are, but that's what high school taught me. I went to performing arts, LaGuardia. LaGuardia was great, but it definitely taught race relations, and it allowed you to be around so many different people of different elks and colors and cultures. But there was a fine line of The black kids are going to be here. The Asians are here. The whites are here. We have a couple of mixties and, you know, multiculturals. But even in that, the black girls are still going to have to get the cosign from the other black girls. The white girls are still going to have to chill with their white groups to not feel like they've completely sold out.
Exactly.
And so when I went to college, I was the only black girl in the theater department, but I didn't get caught up like, oh, I'm the only one, so let me be everybody's best black girlfriend. Like, no. Then the black girls, oh, you're not in a sorority? You don't want to be an AK? You don't want to be in a sorority? Then we don't want to have anything to do with you. So I was kind of caught in limbo of, I want to have sisterhood, but I don't want to have to go through this in order to have sorority sisters. Like the whole ritual of how to become an AK seems so opposite everything that I believed in. And I didn't listen to what everyone said. I listened to myself, my heart, and I don't know if in losing a parent at a young age allows you to check in and really be the leader of your own band.
You got no choice.
You just become like, okay, well, if everybody's doing this, that's cool, but is it just to get money? Is it to be popular? And I started realizing a lot of friends that I grew up with were starting to make alignments with people only and strictly based on finance, what they could get out of niggas. Oh, I'm gonna break up with this girl and get with Puffy's ex-girlfriend because that'll get me close to Puff Daddy and to money. And these girls, it did it. So when you even, like, I'm a fuck with niggas just for popularity and money. All those cats did that, and their rap careers didn't pop off. Some of them got a little bit of accolades, but seeing them 25 years later, it's crazy to run into rappers that we kind of idolized in our early teens, and now to see them as like, you know, 45-year-old, kind of washed out. They don't look like they've taken care of themselves. They drank too much. They did too much drugs. And those were their choices because they had that wealth. They had that money. Cool. But I'm talking about our community, our generation. I'm so grateful that, you know, in losing so much, I just started to realize how much energy am I going to put out to maintain friendships. Same thing. If I come from a family who my father won't even call me back. I got really strong at not taking things personal from people and just going, I'm sorry, I'm looking at how much ginger. Not taking things personally and going, look, if I feel I'm going to call you more than you are me after like a year, you know, some people don't call you back. If my friends don't call me after a year of not outreaching, those aren't the people that need to be in my cipher. Let them go. If I graduate college and the people that are next to me and up underneath me every day, if I feel like I'm reaching out to them more than they are me, or that I will go visit them more than they will me, just let some time pass. See if they'll come and visit you. None of my besties from college visited me in Brooklyn. None of them came to see how I was after graduation. None of them even cared to be like, wow, Celina, no one was even at your graduation but you. And we're gonna support that. Watching these little shows, the Walters Boys, and I watch Maxton Hall. I watch a whole lot of bullshit when I'm making food, when I'm doing products and stuff. I watch all these, so much support if you have a first love or boyfriend. So much support if you lose a family member and your friend. That's not based in reality. The reality is people. My
also,
reality was people separating themselves.
Well, it was also the time, though. You also look at the time that
You're right.
happened to you. You was like 19, which means everybody around
This
you.
is
was
1999.
Which means everybody around you was like between 17 and 19. So they all y'all children.
Well, I'm saying I lost her in 96, but when I graduated in college in 99, it allowed me to like be grown enough to not chase relationships that weren't
I'm saying at the
fulfilling.
time that she passed, though, when that happened, you were at a circumstance where you're the only one dealing with that.
Yes.
At that time, around a bunch of people
who are too young.
Also coming from that, like we came from that middle class era. So even the poor kids that wasn't like middle class blacks in that era we was at, they were still we was all still together, kind of. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So what I'm saying is they had no experience outside of that to compare any of that to. They still had their mothers and shit like that.
Absolutely.
They
Which is
still
why
had their family and shit
which
like
is
that.
why I didn't get like, you know how some people get bitter? I just realized they're at the age that they should be. Things that happen
that
to
was
me.
what I'm saying. They were like that due to the fear of them losing. Because as a child,
Absolutely.
as children, you equate what you see every day.
With
so
like you, like so.
with you'll internalize more as a young adult or child than you do as an adult. So as a young adult, it's not like they like, oh, if I hang with Celina, my mom's might die. It's not even like that, but it's like
they
that.
They don't know how to really relate.
They don't know how to relate.
It's
to
like
that.
I understand that,
So,
and so I always left
the
it.
best way for
I always left it out of conversation. I never talked about it. I never think because I don't want to bring up.
Right, but at the same token,
that's not fair.
They never
asked.
No. So
not at all.
That's a problem.
Not at all. Not only to not ask, but you know, I think that social media has somewhat taught people how to relate in situations like that. It wasn't around at the time that happened, so you know they might have heard through stories of others, and it's not even the thing of the passing. It really is what I learned and the lessons of, am I going to allow these abusive relationships to be in my life because I have nobody? Because I don't have a grandmother? Because I don't know? You start to value things in a different way. So, I really wanted my son to have grandparents. I thought that it would make him softer. I thought that it would allow him to just trust more. Your grandparents and your extended family teach so much, like subconsciously, in ways that you aren't even aware.
Be thankful if you have
being raised by and in a house with my grandparents, I just learned how to take care of men. Bring a beer every night. Well, not every night, you know, as an alcoholic. But, you know, bring a drink, bring a plate of food, clean the dishes. There was a maternal energy that I was always around. I'm very grateful for.
Because you still had men in the house.
Yes, I did.
Up.
Yes, I did. I had my grandfather.
See, all the men in my
house.
crib had been ran off or died. So
yes.
I was the last male up until my cousin King David.
Mm-hmm.
And then my cousin had a little boy, Chayasi. So
you can come back.
they can hear me. What I'm saying
I love
is,
how we don't really care to be seen, but people, oh, show your face, show your face.
this is reality.
Nah, it is. He
Taking
did.
the dishes out, bro. Anyway, you can hear what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah, I'm just loving
Okay,
it because
so-
this is partly why we're doing what we're doing. Is to have it be in our life and not
So they
always
created
position.
a circumstance by which you actually had men around. See, me, I was the man around all of these so-called females who, for whatever reason, didn't have men. So going from the great-grandmother, Arthur, he died. Then my grandmother, she never really held a dude down like that, right? Then my mother, she wound up getting divorced, right? then I'm here. So it's like, this is what I'm saying about the whole circumstance. So by the time I get here,
Ooh.
these chicks, they done been living almost 20, 30 years with no man around like that enough where it's like they have an interaction with. So of course, that creates a bitterness in them that me now, as the patriarch in the family now, is going to receive certain elements of the brunt from. Just because of the fact that I'm not also conforming to the type of man, I guess, that they, in their wisdom, may have wanted me to be. So
Which
you
was somebody
naturally,
that doesn't talk about history, someone who's not on, you know, a history teacher. Aseer could have been an artist. He could have been
they wanted a boule person in their family. That's what the females in my family.
What does that mean?
They were Eastern Stars, and they wanted a boule candidate to be able to take them across the threshold. And that was definitely not going to happen with me.
And on the opposite, the men in my family were the Masons.
Right.
And they wanted the women to be Eastern Stars and
right.
Boule, but it was it wasn't that case.
Right.
It wasn't that way.
So our shit was
think
mirrored.
I think it's mirrored, and it's also opposite the same.
Right.
I never thought that I would be with someone who had relationships that were in a disarray with their mom, because I had such an amazing relationship with my mom.
But your shit was in disarray with your dad.
Exactly. So it's, you see the flip?
Yep.
And also, I didn't, it's like, oh, well, if you guys don't have extended family, you never marry someone who doesn't have grandparents as well. But we did. We got together. Maybe that was a thing that allowed us to have certain compassion, because in me seeing how his mother treated him, I was so appalled and was like, this woman is living and she act like this? This woman is alive,
right,
and she hasn't seen or been to Florida or our house. She won't invite us in New York. She won't be around.
But that relationship is the same mirror that I had when dealing with your father.
Exactly.
And your sister.
Exactly.
I'm like, how
are you alive?
How are y'all niggas alive?
And not around.
And y'all not doing nothing to help support this young lady, who actually is not just a good woman, like, is a chaste girl. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that is not out here trying to just control everything like the rest of y'all niggas. But familiarity breed contempt. And the more familiar people get with you sometimes, the more contemptful they will be with you, because of the fact that they consistently around you to see when you're going to falter, when you're not going to be on point, when you're going to be the one to have to, ask them for help or whatever. So when you don't do shit like that, it infuriates the type of energy that wants you to be dependent upon them. That's the same energy that basically the government conned the original woman into believing that he should be her man. And after he helped her raise his kid, he get to take his son or his children to his house, which is the jail, which is the prison, you know what I mean? That the mother has basically, or let's not even put on the mother, the environment that was co-signed by the new head of the family, who now is the matriarch, now is creating this prison, help perpetuate this prison to school pipeline shit that people still trying to act like don't exist. And now that they've weaponized feminism, that they've weaponized the family, that they've got women now to the point where they believe that they're not even supposed to have children. Like, it's crazy. Meanwhile, every other woman on the planet, right, is on the opposite tip. Regardless of how grimy they mans is in their country, regardless of how bad they mans is in their country, regardless of how abusive, how rapey, how pedophile, they are still there with them. You don't have no mass migration of Muslim women rebelling against Islam. That's not happening right now. You don't have no mass migration of women standing up like... Matter of fact, this is how bad it is. A lady she just got, I want to say it's the president of Tanzania, because she's a tyrant, but I may be wrong about that. But what I'm saying is there's a woman who was made like the head of whatever, the chieftain in some African country, just using that as an example. Mm-hmm. And she was made like the head chieftain, right? So her first act as chief, now this is the first time they had a women, maybe 100 years or something, running shit, right? Her first act was to outlaw. Her first act was to outlaw the child marriages. Because these niggas, these 60-year-old men is marrying
12-year-olds, basically.
Worse. 9, 7. You know what I'm saying? So she outlawed that, right? She's saying, no, they gotta be of age for you to do this. So now she's breaking the tradition, right? Do you know these old, crazy pedophile niggas was protesting her? They actually had a protest where they go, all these old niggas out here that's been used to living vicariously through these children they raping, under the guise of the religion, under the guise of the tradition, right? She come in, she like, nah, we not doing that no more. They come and protest it so much to the point where she got a cave. So now they able to do it again. So it's like, this is what I'm saying, like, there is, everything is so askew. I feel like we're at a stage in this reality where if you have a relationship, what they say, preserving a worthy relationship is better than starting a new one.
And and also stop feeling, or not stop, because people are not doing this. Don't feel as though you're missing something. Know that whatever is in your realm is what it is in your realm. Amour's personality is amazing because he hasn't had grandparents, because he has no extended family, because he hasn't had any siblings or anybody to rely on. Instead of me looking at it as like, oh, he's a little difficult and you can't. No, I like that about him now. I like that you can't get coochie coo up under him. He don't trust people unless you're around them for a while. Everything that I wish I could be like, I feel like my son is, because he didn't have, or he wasn't forced to have to be around energy just because, oh, that's your grandmother, that's your grandfather, that's your uncle. All the shit that I had to deal with, and getting rid of the program of my aunts and uncles. Yeah. These people that were, you know, amazing. My aunt's a doctor. My uncle's an electrical engineer. They're all wealthy. They build brownstones in Harlem.
Spiritually bankrupt.
But they're spiritually bankrupt. They don't want to help their family. They don't want to look.
Destroyed their family.
They don't want to look at a cousin, an uncle. They don't value family.
No.
The values that you were taught, they do not practice. So why are you trying to get somebody who does not speak the same language to talk with you and your family, or to recognize you and your son? It's not going to work. And that's when I started to really just receive a lot of wealth in life. Is when I stopped feeling like, oh, people are, you know, I'm not doing enough. My son has got these swimming competitions and nobody but his parents can be there. You know what that's taught though? For him not to rely on anybody being there. For him not to get caught up in people telling him, oh, I love you. For him not, so yeah, my son might have some issues in like being tender with the wrong person or just trusting, but I kind of like that. Because I was taught to trust the wrong motherfuckers too long.
Everybody that taught you.
I was taught to forgive people that would never be there. You understand? So yeah, you can forgive, but let these people go. Don't be upset if your sister made certain choices that makes her impossible for her to feel comfortable around you. These are the choices that some people made. Your first boyfriend. I still get people ask, oh, how is so-and-so? How is this guy? It's like, it's been over 30 years. Are you asking him how I am? No, because it's also programmed, the girl gotta be broken. I actually chose not to deal with someone who I saw money could buy anything for this nigga. All you gotta do is slip him some popularity and some money, and this nigga will be your fucking bitch. That's what made me turn off. I don't want to be with a yes man. I don't want to be with somebody that if, oh, you could get this, and if you just do that, I'll do it, fuck it. Nah, you don't have no integrity. You quick to do anything for $1.
Integrity, again, is based upon you being raised by somebody with that. Most of the people that we were raised, like, integrity wasn't a big thing. I don't want this to sound crazy. Integrity is not something that is promoted to women. Integrity, loyalty, honesty, compassion, these things are not equated to women anymore. Those things, they have made women think that those things about themselves is weak. So you get a bunch of females or women who act as if they're stronger than they really need to be, and then all that does is isolate them and put them in a position where they're more alone, which is what the whole psyop is about. The whole psyop was about getting the original woman of humanity, isolate her, so that way she's all by herself, and that way we can create more mutants from her womb. That's what it's about. And if so long as she
Yes,
So long as we satiate her ego to the point that she believes she is her own species, she won't care about the family, the dog, the man, the child, because it's all about her.
And that's what I've noticed in his mother.
Yeah.
That is his mother
That's my
to
mom.
a T. If you are not feeding or satiating her ego or making her feel like the bad choices she made were right, then she will throw you to the wind, she will talk trash about you, and she will act as though she is an outstanding Christian. An outstanding Christian who has sold the house from under her children, who has lied to her sister about money. I mean, so much.
Did a lie,
And in watching these shows, it's now teaching me. I'm like, is television teaching me? No, these shows. I watched a show the other day, and it was like the woman, so evil, so evil, but the family knew and was able to deal with it. These women will pay other family people off in order to be a part of. He don't know where his children are for 8 years. The whole time his mother know.
Right.
You think his mother would call him and say, look, I know where your daughter is at? No. She'd rather her son, her own blood son, go crazy at night, have depression, have thoughts of suicide.
Also, she could see that.
Also, she could be like, well, I saw them. And you know what? Right now, they don't even trust their grandmother. They don't. It's not like Aries has more love for his grandmother.
And
He's like, no, I saw her for a while, but anytime I asked her questions about you, she would act weird. Or anytime, it's like you can't hide forever.
That whole generation, like I said, between those of us between 73 and 99, we are all a patchwork generation. We are all the deadbeat dad generation, baby mom generation, patchwork family generation, everybody raising everybody else kid generation, destruction of family court generation, CPS generation. Like, this is what specifically happened. They started that shit in the 40s. When the men was, also what they not telling you is that back during World War II and all of that, when the white people was going through right before the Great Depression and all that, we was living boiling off the chain. We was not the ones broke. We're the ones that had all the money. In World War II, when the Harlem Hellfighters and the Buffalo Soldiers and all of the so-called conscripted melanated men went to war, when they got their money, they mailed all of their money back home to their women. And you know what that did? That created the so-called black upper middle class. And while all these black women was home, living lives of luxury, had cars, had houses, had all that, these white women was broke. They was broke.
They had to destroy that for us.
So the white women looked at how good these so-called original women was living and went to that white man and said, you got to do something about this. These bitches ain't going to live better than us.
And
so you know what the white man did?
More funds to actually start businesses. And
we was doing it all because we was still in control of the country.
Make marmalade. And
so you know what they did? They created the welfare system to get the so-called original woman dependent on the government instead of the man, right? That was automatically putting her in the highest position in the whole country, almost in the whole world.
So again, to break up our communication, start a new line of communication, and make it seem as though that communication is better than what you can have with your man.
And then 80 years later, look where we at.
Not
look where we at. Now you got a whole group of women talking about how, I'm just okay with being alone. I'm okay with my cats. I'm okay with this white man. I'm okay. You okay with everything else except being with an original man. Why? So it's the thing that you are negating the most that says what you're the most transfixed by. And that's why I feel like we're in this position. Because again, nobody takes the time to actually work through the problem. Regardless to whether
or to not entertain it, like your like family.
Right, like regardless of what, whether extended family or not, when you as a man and you as a female woman get together and y'all agree to have a family, that's your family now.
Right.
It's not the extended people. See, that's how we was raised, and that fucked us up.
Yes, it did. It's not.
Y'all think y'all extended family is your family.
It's more
No.
important.
When you lay with that man and have that man baby, when that man lay with you and claim you as his wife, that's your family now. Your mother, your father, all them people, they're extended. But they're not supposed to live in your house.
They're not supposed to be the nuclear.
They're not. You're not supposed to be consulting them about your marriage. You're not supposed to be doing all of that. Because they didn't do that with you. They did not do that with you. So you need to preserve what it is that you need to preserve for yourself. I always tell people all the time, you want to read something real good about how husbands, wives, and children are supposed to work? Get to Circle 7 Quran and read this section that talks about how the husband's supposed to treat the wife, how the wife's supposed to treat the husband, how the children's supposed to treat the family. Like, certain things, traditional things were laid out in our community, in our society for a reason, because that shit worked.
And it doesn't negate your relationship with the Creator. It doesn't negate your relationship with Christianity, if you are that. You can have any religious beliefs that you like, but it's also just to create a foundation again that might have been forgotten after all this time.
Right.
Because I was a lot more fearful and angry and at the very beginning of his lecture career. I didn't know how much he could say that would attract, or I didn't have faith that people wouldn't try to put hits out. I was a lot in New York at one time. So I would always be like, don't say that, don't, because I'm living with the results of after the lecture. And again, no one talks about those things. No one talks about how is this person helping this energy, or, for example,
After this,
I miss Bobby Hammett for so long. I know that he's married. He's been with Linda. I believe her name is Lisa, Linda. I'm not sure. Shout outs to you guys. But I've always wondered, what is can you help us, Linda? Can you share your husband with the world? What, ever since she was in his life, and people don't want to say this because it's like, oh, it's gonna. No, certain women get into men's lives and you never see them again. You never hear from them again. Mm-hmm. He was one of our best metaphysicians, teachers, lecturers, men in our lives. Yes. And something happened to him. He's alive, but we don't see him anymore. No. And I'm always like, well, is his wife? Aseer's like, no. And I said to him, well, what does she look like? And Aseer described, when Aseer describes women and he always leads with light skin and a big fat light skin, I already know where he's going with it. Because he's not anti-light skinned women. But he says to me, light-skinned women are used as the #1 agenda sellers and breakers in our communities. And I mentioned Bobby Hammett because ever since he's been with this woman, we have not seen him. Is she responsible for his? No. Is she? But partially, I'll tell you this. If he disappeared, I want y'all to ask me where my husband is, where he at. If he disappeared, I want you to go, Celina, tell the story. What happened? I'm not going to not have Aseer be on camera after something for a year and then not say nothing. Just bow out gracefully. Even now, I don't want to do this on camera, but I'm striving to share more and to like, I told Aseer, if someone came into our lives and was like, look, I'll just follow y'all around and film y'all talking. I got it. It would be dope. I'd be great. Put the camera right here, film me. I'll stretch, I'll do all my stuff while I'm talking on the camera, but that doesn't happen. I gotta make products, I gotta make dinner, I gotta keep my kitchen clean, I gotta juice. And what it did teach me is I'm not gonna waste my time waiting for someone to do these things with me. I'm not gonna keep putting energy out to friends that don't wanna exercise in the sauna 5 days a week, who don't wanna juice during the day and have like 1 or 2 small cooked meals. I've learned to not think. I meet a girl, I'm myself with her, and it don't last because I'm gonna wake up in the morning and work out. I'm gonna do yoga. I'm gonna think, and I'm like, no. People don't do it consistently. No. I don't want to wake up every day and work out, but I want my waist to be a 24, and I want my thighs and my legs, and I'm 48. I want to be able to stand next to a 22-year-old and go, age, it really don't. It's how you live your life, and it's the choices you make and all of that. So no. High school friends is not to say I don't miss and I don't think and I don't love. I just don't live in my past. I don't expect my high school friends to understand because they never called. They never wanted to get to know me. They never wanted to say, write a letter, email. And I'm not looking for them to. So I just leave people that in my life. Same thing, I don't share a lot on Facebook because Facebook became such a hubbub for people that I went to high school with. I'm like, why does somebody that I went to high school with need to see my son growth development? Why do people that don't like me at all need to check my page to see how I celebrated my birthday or my anniversary? I'm gonna stop doing it. I'm gonna stop sharing. Just let the years pass. 10 years pass without you seeing my son. I shared them to show I'm not afraid. But now, y'all are deserving. And when I say y'all, strangers, my family, the people that I'm talking to about that were in my life when my mother was alive, they don't deserve to see me live, to see me think. So sometimes I keep shit private just to not feed that entity. And if you do want to see me, you're going to have to go online to find pictures because I'm not sharing every photo with strangers. And so that all your high school friends can feel like they know what you're doing.
Yeah, man.
Corny.
Live your life.
Corny. This was dandelion and green apple. Oh, I missed one. The green apple just helps the bitterness of the dandelion, but it's so good for your liver, so good for your skin. Same thing, I did 3 jars of pineapple ginger as well as the beet. So I keep them kind of separate because I already know how you think. I force him though, and that's the thing. I force my son to work out. I force my son to exercise and to do. Some days he just wants to wake up, draw a little bit, watch TV, do his work, and not do anything else. And then, no, you're gonna exercise, you're gonna do the dishes and not use the dishwasher because it's gonna teach you consistency. And you're not gonna like me for a couple years, but I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here for you to figure out how to have a consistent, disciplined lifestyle so that when you get older, you don't fall into laziness.
You just don't take the easy way out.
Nah, and it's not easy.
Every crib we've lived in, we done had a microwave. We don't never use a microwave.
Haven't used a microwave in 30 plus years.
30
And it's
plus
not
years.
it's not to challenge people that have.
To the point where
It's
when
just
he
to
come
say-
in to the kitchen to do his thinking and cooking shit, he don't even, we use the microwave for storage. Like, he don't even use it.
He don't think of the
He don't even
microwave
think of it.
anymore.
He just think about real food.
But there
That's
was
what I'm trying
times
to
I
say.
want popcorn, I want this. No. And no. Why my family's so difficult? Why can't I? You know what, Amor? Try the chicken wings. Try the chicken wings from so and so. Try the chicken wings. His whole skin break out. Now you don't want chicken wings. Or you can really eat if you want to do something extra. I'll make you some lamb. You can have your little lamb as a man, but you're not gonna eat turkey and chicken and beef. Why? Because you don't come from a family that do that. And I'm sorry. I'll give you a lamb, you'll have your what? No, this, that, and the third. So sometimes I can see it in Amor. He's like, oh, I gotta wake up and work out. Yeah, it's annoying, but this is exactly why I didn't have a consistent relationship with my sister. The things I wanted to do, let's go for a bike ride. I don't want a bike ride. Great, I'll go by myself. Let's go to a date. I don't want to go. Great, I'll go by myself. You start doing stuff because I'm not going to wait for everybody to do what I want to do. You don't want to skin brush. You don't want to work out every morning before you. Great, don't. I'm going to those so that when I get older, I'm not going to deal with the joint pain that I know I've been destined to have.
So in summation, because we're going to shut this down.
I'm going to shut it down.
In summation, I think it's best for you to understand that you are your family once you create it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come from an extended family and all of that. However, as a man and woman and you have children, your children should, for the most part, this is my opinion, just based on my experience, they should always see the mother and the father striving to work whatever it is out. Like, regardless of how many years we've been together, whenever we've had issues or whatever, we could be mad and whatever, but our son has always seen us work it out. You understand what I'm saying? My first 2 children, they never got to really see that due to the separation, due to the kidnapping and all that shit. So there's a certain degree of collective understanding that you have to have. However, when you accept the fact that you are your family and that this is what your responsibility is here, your home here, everything outside of that right? It's just
Off the wayside.
it's just an extension, but it's not the integral part of your household. And that household, that integral part is the heart. You know what I'm saying? And the heart of the family is the nucleus of the family: the father, the mother, and the children. So if we're not dealing with that,
Red, gold, and green.
right? So if we're not dealing with that,
Everything
we're
else
dealing with
can be off.
confusion. You know what I'm saying? So again,
Just like
support
watch-
each other, support your individual households, support the ability to be able to come together, have some sort of negation on anything negative. Support the idea of being able to reconcile whatever situations that you may or may not have with yourself, your children, family members. However, if you don't have the ability to
Do that,
stop striving to gain closure with people who are closed off. The closure comes from when you accepting the fact that you've done everything that you can do, and that now you need to focus on what's most important, and that cannot be focusing on what somebody else is thinking about you, what somebody else is expecting from you, what somebody else is low-key gaslighting you to think about yourself or your family. On you. There we are.
Same example. Other day someone wrote and was like, real people meet in person, and y'all always on the thing and thing. I can't meet strangers at their house. I know that it sounds messed up, and sometimes I meet people and I want to be friends. Some people write us, I watch so and so and I'm in Tampa and it would be nice to link and think. I would love to, but I've never met you before, so I can't just go to a stranger's house. I appreciate that you feel that there's a camaraderie and that we can build, but what is there really building other than sharing ideas? Sharing ideas is one thing, but sharing an idea that will build and lead to something is something else. And oftentimes, my husband doesn't find it entertaining to constantly share his ideas with people who won't retort or share anything back or build on. That's number one. Number two, same thing. We just watched something he sent me. Woman got arrested after 52 years of kidnapping her daughter. She was supposed to bring her daughter to the father's house. She never did. 50 years passed. 45 years passed. Now the girl 48. Father just see the daughter after 45 years. Saw her when she was 3. Woman got arrested because it was wrong. She kidnapped the child, but because it was a mother, nobody thought of it as kidnapping. Nobody thought of it as a big deal. And I laughed at that, and I said, this is exactly what happened to you. Because your kids you met them when they were young, then they were taken at the age of like 6. Then you didn't see your daughter again until she was 17. That's 10 years, and then we expect her to be comfortable around black folk when she was only raised to be light skinned and white, and let people think that you're mixed and let people think that you're white. I get why, but it still has an effect on her around
These
her
women
us.
will destroy.
She don't feel comfortable around us.
They will destroy their children in order to have some sort of petty revenge or some sort of petty situations. And especially if they see the child sometimes have a better relationship with the other parent than they do, they will work to totally sabotage that shit to the point where they will literally try to impose their insecurity and make it the daughter's insecurity. I remember one of the last arguments I had where I said, well, what's going to happen when we find out that you're the one, through your attitude and your bipolarness and all this shit, you're the one causing her mental problems? Who is going to defend her? Who is going to help her defend herself from you? She said, well, that would be your job. I say, yeah, that's what I've been doing. And what have you done? You fucking kidnapped her. So it's like, at a certain point, we have to understand that the whole village thing and all of that sounds cool. However, as Americans, we all know that when it all comes down to it, all we got is each other.
You see that how he cut it off, how he cut me off, and I just shut up and allowed him to talk? That's healthy cutoff. I don't mind for him to just cut me off mid-sentence. Same thing, sometimes I don't even cut him off, just to add on to what he's done. Throw him, because his mind works a little different than me. I can shut the fuck up right away and let him talk. When he's talking and I might jump in, it might affect him differently. and y'all be, oh, Celina, you cutting him off. No,
You're
he's
looking for
affected,
problems.
and y'all are looking for issues. See how I shut the fuck up as soon as I was saying something, and he just, because we banter like that. I don't need to, oh, see, I was talking and you hold the baton and I hold the, it don't work like that. We have thoughts, we just share them. And I was sharing a thought to say, that woman got arrested. She got dealt with properly. The same way I think his baby mom needs to be arrested. It's been over 20 years you haven't picked up a phone. That's not normal. But I kind of like it now. I kind of like that he hasn't spoken to either of his baby moms in 20 years. What the fuck? Why? Because I was pushing for it for so long. Talk to them, talk to them. Now they don't want, great, don't. That's weird. Don't talk to the person you created a life with. Okay? If that's what worked for you, sis, let it work.
That's what I said, man.
That's why, let it work and let people be who and how they want. I'm not sending my son to Ecuador, so he hasn't seen my father in 15 years. I'm not trusting a woman who kept the truth from her own son and won't talk to us for over a decade. So I won't call her on my son's birthday for her to what? She's supposed to call her grandson. He ain't supposed to call her. My son, this man still call his mother on Mother's Day. Why? Why? Because he's a nice guy. I'm like, let her feel one Mother's Day without you saying Happy Mother's Day. Because she hasn't been in your life in over 20 years. I've been with you for 25. She has not said congratulations. Do you need anything? Thank you. We love nothing.
Because I've been married longer than any woman in my family. You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, there's nobody in my family married but me. You understand how crazy that shit is? That's crazy. I'm the only one in my whole family right now that is actually in a actual marriage, but like I'm committed. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Meanwhile, these are the people when I was coming up, when they were trying to steal the clothes, my children and everything.
See how he go for the yellow and
they was telling me that, you know, I was a womanizer, I was a pimp, I was all this other type of shit. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
well, no,
the
you
narratives
were a man
relate.
that allowed two women who happened to be questioning their sexuality and liked the fact that they could be together with you. You allowed that to take place, and they couldn't deal with it.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
Simple.
And so that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, it comes down to, as adults, we have to maintain and accept the choices and the consequences that come from it that we make. So we should all give ourselves the amount of grace that's needed for us to basically make the best decisions possible.
And don't listen to these rules like if a man don't have a good relationship with his mother, he's not to be trusted. No. Sometimes the moms are bipolar psychotics.
Stop listening to
who are really
anybody.
Unhealthy and who use church and money and power as a means to yield over their children.
Stop using.
I put these paper towels underneath because these get rusted no matter what I do. And I noticed, oh, a little paper towel will stop all that. So now I'm just like obsessed with putting a block.
The best thing you can do to store all of your vegetables, fruits, whatever, glass mason jar. I'm telling you, since we've been using this and off with the Ziplocs and all that shit, it's been
And
a
there's
lot
always
better.
something gonna take you out. You know, I laughed. I said, look, there's always something. But I just want to, I do this every other day. This will be gone tomorrow, like tonight, tomorrow. Amor will drink one whole of these on his own. And then today, I'm gonna finish this in the green. Now, it's annoying, all of these juices, but I wanted to try to stop and share a little more. We're gonna do a little more like this. Oh, and tomorrow I think we have a show with Dr. G.
Yeah, Dr.
Wanted to
Dr.
thank her.
Pruitt, not Dr. G.
I don't even know.
Dr.
I don't even
Pruitt.
know. I'm sorry, Dr. Pruitt. I don't even know because I only have doctor program in my head for two different women. Plus, I also anybody that wants stuff with, we be there. It's just it's difficult to set so much stuff up when you're also helping, you like making shit every day.
Yeah, if you go
have
on
a
my
job.
Facebook right now, for Aseer Ali Cordova, the flyer and everything for the show tomorrow night will be on, so y'all can check it out.
Yep.
All right.
Talk to you soon. CordovaOrganics.com. There's like 30 products over here, but we didn't do that today. I'll talk to y'all about
Peace.
that later. Peace.